I think that if we continue to commit and continue to put in all our efforts, we'll get there. Because our ultimate goal is to ensure that we will not stop until everyone in this country becomes financially literate. So that tells you that it's a Herculean task, but it's something that we can surmount and make it happen with the support of every one of us here. I know that this launch, so let's welcome our Managing Director with a round of applause, Ms. Abnamwa. Once the MD is here, you should know that it's a very important program, that she's really committed to it. So we are happy that she's joined us this afternoon. So we want to also acknowledge the team from CSD, Central Securities Depository, led by Madam Thelma Anyani. And then also, so she's representing Mr. Joseph Lati, the Managing Director of CSD. We also have the leadership of Young Investor Network here. Joshua is around, and then I'm here to see Kofi. I'm sure he's on his way. We also want to welcome all the capital market players, our partners who are here. And also, I've also seen some of our partners who also supported us during the quiz. I mean, the lecturers, the consultants who put together all the questions and everything. So we want to acknowledge all of you. Doc, welcome. We also want to acknowledge Mrs. Joyce Isibuachi, the head of listing and new products at the stock exchange. And she has been part of all the engagements that we've been having out there. And then we also want to acknowledge every guest who has honored our invitation to be here. And then, of course, our media partners. We appreciate all of you and we appreciate your support. So GSC, once again, is very excited to also notice that some partners have also come on board, and I'm sure Maxwell will acknowledge them. We have a team from Jeff from Access Bank. We have a team from Stanbic Republic Investments, Waika, Ray, and then Ashfield Investments. We want to acknowledge all of you for coming over to support this program. So I will now hand over to Maxwell to continue.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for Mr. Jerry Boachi-Dankwa. He is the head of marketing and PR for the Ghana Stock Exchange. Right. Okay, so formally, some of our key supporters throughout this whole program and beyond. As you know, it's not easy as a group like Young Investor to put together certain initiatives, and we haven't done it alone. We have ridden on the coattails of some major partners, some people and some individuals who have been with us, not just this year, but years before. So I'd like to acknowledge, first of all, Stanbic Investments. We have one gentleman who's with that outfit in the name of Desmond. Desmond, can we get away from you? Yes, and thank you. And we have Victor, and pardon me if I don't get the name right. Is it Victor Avebe? Is it Victor? Okay, Victor Avebe from Ashfield Investments. A round of applause for Victor and his outfit. And we have some esteemed members from the academic community in the presence of Dr. Abeka from University of Ghana. A round of applause. And Dr. Ban as well from the University of Ghana. A round of applause for some of these academic minds who have graced today's occasion. We have reps from First Finance as well. A round of applause for First Finance. Yes, thank you so much. And of course, Access Bank. We have Access Bank rep here, and they have also been supportive of us. Jeffrey is from Access Bank. Can we see a wave from Jeffrey? Championing the youth and inclusive banking as well. And of course, we have Waika Re. Waika, do you have a rep from Waika Re? Okay. I believe a rep would be here. So they are also being supportive of us. And of course, all those who generally have supported us and are here with their presence, we thank you as well for making time and joining us. All right, so moving on. Next, we have an address from our chief sponsor, that is the GSC, being made by none other than Miss Abena Amoa. A round of applause as she comes to give us an address.
It's such a special day for me. The time I'm having today, I said, please ask for forgiveness for me. I'll be a bit late, but I must be here. And it's indeed a great, great pleasure for me to join you to inaugurate our 2024 youth investment educational programs. And first, before I say that, let me say that we've had great partnerships. We've had great partnerships. The Young Investor Network, for carrying this torch, you've been fantastic. And I stand here and congratulate you very well. There's a good account saying that says that ufudu pa and so we are climbing a good tree, and so we are beginning to attract more partners. So that's why CSG, the University of Ghana, the Access Bank, and many, many much bigger brands will continue to support this program. And so it's a worthwhile tree. We will all bear the fruits of it. So we'll keep climbing it, but it only works if you, the youth in this room, collaborate with us and take the learnings, but importantly, act on them. Often we forget to do the last one, act on them. So again, I just want to say thank you, your unwavering support, CSD, YIN, and all the other partners, the Ghana Stock Exchange, and our mission to create wealth, to create a Ghana where our companies are successful, where our individuals have their money working for them and adding on to their wealth, where we are taking our savings and investing them in the productive sectors that create jobs, that put goods and services, that earn forex, and that empowers each of us to live our best life. It's our relentless mission and vision. And with your support and this program, we will continue to do that. Reflecting on the insights garnered in 2023, for us, the profound impact that we've been able to touch the lives of over 15,000 students last year, increased the number of regions we reached out to from 3 to 5, spanning over 50 institutions, and that the Young Investor Network delivered over 75 online finance and investment training programs, is something we are so proud of. I think they deserve a big round of applause. We believe that it's through programs like this we have left our youth this year much better than they started last year. You've gained practical financial skills, and we've ignited curiosity about the investment landscape. Today, as we all join here to unveil the 2024 programs, we do so with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. Our objectives are clearer than ever. We must expand our reach, we must promote continuous learning, and we must establish this initiative as a cornerstone of youth empowerment in our nation. But again, there's something missing. We must act on it. You're all in school. You have siblings still in school. Wouldn't it be a great idea if we all came together, went to Ministry of Education and said, from when a child starts class 1, we want to see on the curriculum investment education, financial literacy. Does it depend on what subject you do in school to be financially literate? Does it depend on every single Ghanaian must be financially literate. And other places, they've done that by inculcating that in their educational curriculum. So just as we were taught to read and write, we must be taught to be financially literate, to take advantage of investment opportunities, to start our own businesses, to buy insurance products, to open bank accounts. All of that requires financial literacy, just as reading, writing, maths, numeracy are also very, very important life skills that we must have. So it's something I want to see all of us come together. You must agitate for it. We must agitate for that. But if we had a policy like that, can you imagine what it means all throughout? By the time we are in tertiary, we all understand what we must do. The second part of action requires that we must have tools that make it easy for all of us to access the market. So you know about the market, you know about analyzing stocks. So you want to walk into someone's office too before you open an account? You all want to do it, all of us want to do it from our phones, right? And just as an idea comes to us, or we've seen something in the news, we want to act immediately. So we must advocate for the tools that gives us the access to trade in our accounts, as we've seen elsewhere. So those two things, if we work on them this year, we'll meet again here next year and say that we have advanced this course in a way that will change our lives. With our partners, I want to re-emphasize that we are committed to the 3 flagship initiatives of the Young Investor Network: Investment Education and Training Tour, the Investment Quiz, and the Stock Pitch competition. We must never lose sight of our ultimate vision. We must create a Ghana where every Ghanaian is financially literate, empowered to make informed decisions, so that no one is calling you that I mistakenly sent some money to your Momo account, give me your PIN. Do you see how it affects all of us? Because when you are financially literate, fraudsters suffer before they get you. They also have to do their work, right? Very hard, and come up with really innovative ways before they get you. But as simple as send me your PIN, and so many of us oblige, it means that financial literacy is not a goal we have attained yet. But together, we have the power to shape a brighter future for generations to come. Let me conclude with a favorite poet of mine. It's Women's Month, Maya Angelou, who says, when you know better, what do? You do better. So let us equip ourselves and generations to come with the tools, with the knowledge needed to build a prosperous and sustainable future for all of us. Thank you very much for your attention.
Again, for the MD of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Ms. Abena Amoah. Very insightful delivery there. We thank her again for her patronage, which has always been able to come through for us, even with her busy schedule. So thank you again, Ms. Abena Amoah. Okay, next we have an address by the CEO of CSD in the person of Mr. Joseph Latte. No? Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm guessing along the line we will probably get that from her. Oh, all right. A round of applause for the rep who's the stand-in for Mr. Joseph Latte.
It's been insightful, and like the MD rightly said, we are glad to be part of this journey to make the youth better aware of financial market and all that there is in for career paths and for self-information, so that we are not caught unawares. As technology grows, the risk also grow. So if we are able to educate ourselves, to know the rudiments of the market, and to be financially literate, then we can protect our wealth when we invest. We are thankful that we have been given this opportunity. And I believe that I'm not taking the authority, but my CEO is glad to be part of this and will continue to support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, CSD. Thank you so much. So we've gotten to a stage where we sort of sidestep today's outline, and what we're going to do is we want to have a testimony of some sort. As you know, Young Investor, with all its programs, has been able to get into some very remote corners and touch some lives, and it's only fair that we highlight some of these stories. So we have one young lady, right? And this is a testimony towards the National Youth Investment Education Program. She is in the person of, I believe, Sylvanus, right? Okay, so she participated in the National Youth Investment Education Program, and she went ahead to, I believe, get 8 A's in the WASI, of course. A round of applause for that. And she participated as well in our capital markets quiz. And Young Investor has played such a pivotal role in her life, and it's best that you hear it from her herself. So, a round of applause for Silva. Please come. Sorry, I'm messing the name up. Silvana. So let's hear from Silvana herself, telling us about how she has had quite a journey. She's had the success she's had, and basically the role Young Investor Network has played in her life. All right, Silvana.
I am thrilled to share my experience with the National Youth Investment Educational Program, an important opportunity that has truly transformed my career trajectory. Participating in the 2023 program was a game changer for me, and I am immensely grateful for the doors it opened. Through the program, I not only gained invaluable knowledge about investing and financial literacy, but also had the chance to network with professionals in the industry. Little did I know that these connections would lead me to a life-changing opportunity. Shortly after the program concluded, I was introduced to an investment bank through one of the connections I made. Armed with a certificate of participation from the program, I showcased my newfound skills and enthusiasm for the financial world in my CV. To my delight, this played a pivotal role in securing a job offer. I am now proudly employed in a role that aligns perfectly with my passion for finance, thanks to the National Youth Investment Educational Program. The program not only equipped me with the knowledge and skills I needed, but also provided a platform to network and connect with the industry professionals. I cannot emphasize enough the impact this program has made in my life and career. It serves as a testament to the importance of investing in youth education and empowerment. To all aspiring young individuals, seize every opportunity to learn and grow, for you never know where it might lead you. Thank you to the organizers of the program, the Young Investors Network, and the Ghana Stock Exchange for their dedication to empowering the youth and creating pathways to success. Warm regards, Akosia Amanimo. This is also a testimonial for Daniel Kwesi. The 2023 National Youth Investment Educational Program was a game changer for me in more ways than I could have imagined. As someone who had never saved before, the program opened my eyes to the world of investing and financial literacy in a way that was both accessible and empowering. One of the most significant lessons I learned was how to identify various scams in online investment. Armed with this knowledge, I was able to navigate the often murky waters of online investment opportunities with confidence and discernment. But perhaps The most life-changing aspect of my participation in the program was the fact that I was able to start investing myself. With the guidance and insights I gained from the program, I took the leap and began investing in my money wisely. The returns from my investments not only provided me with financial security, but also enabled me to pursue my dream of furthering my education. I was able to use the funds I earned to pay for my master's program, opening doors to new opportunities and possibilities for my future. I am incredibly grateful to the organizers of the National Youth Investments Educational Program for providing me with the knowledge, skills, and confidence I take to control my financial future. It has truly been a life-changing experience, and I am excited to see where my newfound financial literacy and investment journey will take me next. Thank you for empowering young people like me to dream big and achieve even bigger. Warm regards. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much for the opportunity. Firstly, let me thank God Almighty God for this opportunity. And also the Stock Exchange. They have been a pivotal role for helping the Young Investors Network. For over a decade and a half of financial empowerment to the young people across Ghana, Ghana Stock Exchange has been one of the strong pillars in lifting the veil of Young Investors Network to other people. Through these strategic achievements, we were able to gather a lot of awards. So far in Africa, we are the only financial literacy group among the top 40 financial literacy group that was signed by the Money and Financial Inclusion in the whole world. Our objective is to educate, engage, and empower the youth. We like the youth. In fact, we love them. We like to really encourage them. So last year, as our the MD of Stock Exchange actually said, we have 3 main programs. We had the National Youth Investment Education Program. Last year, we did 50 schools. And we did over 15,000 students. And we were in 5 regions. Okay, so 7 regions, sorry. So this year, our target is to do 80 schools. 80 schools. And we are going to do 50,000 students this year. We started already. Just we are from Cape Coast, and let me thank Ashfield Investments and the rest. They did very well. CSD was there. We have over 1,000 students coming up on Wednesday at Cape Coast. And for the first time, we went to over 10 schools. Wesley Girls, Ifansiman, Ifansipim, Stogas. We went to most of the senior high schools to train them. In fact, we have a long time at Ifansipim school, and they are eager to participate in this year quiz competition. So on the capital market quiz, last year we did 20 schools. And also we have Prempe College beating Precept with 0.5. Okay, 0.5. So yes, it was very serious competition. Let me also thank, can we see Dr. Ba and Dr. Bekan? Oh, they are here. Let's go. Please stand, let's see them. Okay, please stand. God bless you. Let's have them. So these are the consultants, and they set the question for the capital market quiz competition, and they are from the University of Ghana Business School, with Brian assisting them. So this year, we are targeting 50 schools to do the quiz, because we have a call from Takoradi, Northern region. They were saying that we are saluting them. But last time I was there, and they said that we are the only NGO who have come there to stay and teach them financial literacy. So we should come here this year. So then the next program is the stock pitch competition. Last year we did over 500 participants training, and let me commend my co-partner Kofi Chebuzia, who will be coming shortly. He has done very well, trained these participants, take them through the rubbish of financial analysis. So over the past 4 years, after we start the stock pitch competition, proudly sponsored by the Ghana Stock Exchange, KNUST have been winning. I don't know the reason why. Tech have been winning from first. And most of the people that won, Maxwell is part of them, I think, was second from tech. So Maxwell is a testimony itself for the Young Investor Network. Then we also have some young investor people who are currently working. We have my good friend from IT Securities. Let me see you. He passed through Young Investor Network from Conspiracy to Investor Ghana. They are all currently working with IT Securities. So there are a lot of them. We have, if you go to Bank of America now, we have 4 of our people at Bank of America working at the Young Investor Network. And we are, please, let's support the initiative. And I also want to thank the stock exchange because anytime at all I tag them in our LinkedIn, people will write, what has stock exchange done for you? I said, you don't know. For over 15 years, it takes the stock exchange to see the dream and push us. We also want to commend the CSD for supporting this initiative. So for the stock pitch competition this year, we are doing over 1,000 students. Yesterday alone, on Wednesday at UCC, we have close to 400 registering for the stock pitch. Just yesterday, just one school. So this year, we don't know how it's going to be like. Okay, you say 1,000, but what I saw yesterday, next week, we started the program already. Next week, we're going to be in Ashanti region, and over 700 have registered now. The program is on Saturday, next week. So thank you very much, and God bless you all. Beat me if I don't say that I don't do this. They were so happy about the kind of impact the stock exchange CSD have been doing for the youth. So they decided to do a citation to be given out. So please. So we want to present the citation to, this is not from Young Investor Network. This is from, so can I get Sylvania to come before us? Sylvania, who was at St. Mary's Senior High School, passed through the process of Young Investor Network trainings, and currently at the Investor Ghana Business School, and she's trying to get all A's again. Okay, so this goes to, we read for us, then we'll present to.
Citation of appreciation. University of Cape Coast, Association of Business Students. Citation of appreciation, Ghana Stock Exchange. The University of Cape Coast Association of Business Students extends its gratitude to the Ghana Stock Exchange for their collaboration and support during the 30th Anniversary Business Week celebrations. Their contributions to the Financial Summit has greatly benefited the students' academic and professional journey, equipping them with necessary skills for the financial landscape. The Ghana Stock Exchange's dedication to financial literacy and investment awareness has made a lasting impact on the university community. The association presents a citation as a token of gratitude for their exceptional partnership and commitment to excellence. Thank you. Warm regards.
So call on the MD of the Ghana Stock Exchange while we present.
Central Securities Depository. The University of Cape Coast Association of Business Students acknowledges the Central Securities Depository for their support during our 30th Anniversary Business Week celebrations. Their commitment to the financial literacy through our Financial Summit has enriched our students' academic experiences and advanced our institution's mission. The Central Securities Depository's excellence, professionalism, and innovation in finance has inspired our aspiring business leaders. We are deeply grateful for their contributions to the education, innovation, and excellence in business. Thank you for your continued partnership and dedication to our students and institution. Thank you.
So the last one is for Young Investors Network. Can we see the President, Esther, and Program Manager and Head of Communication to come forward, come and receive on behalf of Young Investors Network? Please come.
University of Cape Coast, Citation of Appreciation, Young Investors Network. The University of Cape Coast Association of Business Students presents a citation of appreciation to the Young Investors Network, recognizing their exceptional collaboration and unwavering support during the university's 30th Anniversary Business Week celebrations. This partnership greatly contributed to financial enlightenment and empowerment. The Young Investors Network's dedication to fostering financial literacy among young individuals has been invaluable. Through their partnership, the Financial Summit became a platform for insightful discussions, empowering students with knowledge and skills for success in today's economy. The university expresses profound gratitude for their contributions, signifying the enduring bond and significant impact of their collaboration. Thank you.
Ghana Stock Exchange and the CSD. All right, given that we have to take a note of time, we'll move on to the official launch of the program today. And to do that, we'll invite again Mr. Joshua to basically kick it off, the launch. All right. A round of applause for Mr. Joshua.
Of the Ghana Stock Exchange, CSD, and all the officials of the stock exchange. And also our partners, the incoming partners, or Mr. Astrid, we have the Stanbic Access Bank. Please can all come forward so I can unveil the program. We also have our partner, Joy FM, where we really, this time we can join us. They have been publishing most of our work that we do.
I think we can do it, yes.
So the moment of truth is here as we officially launch the 2024 National Youth Investment Education Program. Yes. So on the count of three. So 3, 2, 1. So we duly declare the National Youth Investment Education Program 2024 launched. A round of applause. For the next couple of months, Young Investor, together with its partners, will be touring the country and impacting over 50,000 lives of youth, bringing investment education to their doorstep And we invite all stakeholders here to participate in that. A round of applause again.
It'll probably not be the villain we're talking about, but we did a survey again on Twitter. That's most often than not I do my stuff. And many people actually earn below 5,000 cedis, right? And many of us are young people. And so we are looking for alternative sources of income. And that is where the betting comes in, with the proposition that, oh, come in, you can make some really good returns. And everybody's looking for money anyways. And so for me, the first bet is the general economic landscape where people don't have so much money. And so the lure of betting is quite enticing. And if you look at some of the things in the adverts that they put in place, if you're not strong-willed, again, I say if you're not really strong-willed, you would fall easily to it. And I think that, like you mentioned again, the peer pressure, because even for someone like me, and I know financial literacy, I have been tempted because we are in a that's the reality. That's the reality. Matter of fact, to be honest, right, when I was in university, I tried some for the first time. And even before we started placing the bet, we had plans of going to Dubai with the money. You see, because they promised you that, oh, it's 5 easy games, predict the scores, and automatically you will win and you go somewhere. And so the peer pressure, and we're in a sports group, they want to first come and post. Today, again, they call it Benjamin. I'm beating Benjamin Whiteman. and if you're not strong-willed, before you realize, you are creating an account the following day. And again, like I said, the advert, your first deposit is 150%. So if you put 1,000 CDs, automatically they give you like 2,500 CDs. No, who doesn't want to do with this? And so that's why I think many young people from the economic landscape are more like interested in going to betting. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Now, and this goes to Dr. Ba. We realize that, per the study and other observations, we realize that a lot of youth come into contact with the habit of betting when they are in school. Maybe it's the community-based feeling, or maybe it's that communal feeling that contributes to that. I would like to assume that it's not a failure of leadership in universities, and perhaps it's just a failure of home training for them. But I think both sides need to take some blame, right? Now, tell us, what do you think is the gap when it comes to morals and ethics in the university, and how do you think that could help solve this problem?
Well, thank you. When it comes to morals, especially where we find ourselves as a democratic country, there's a limit to what the school can actually enforce as morals, especially when we operate an open society in terms of the things that you can't actually restrict in the university, to the extent that sometimes even when you want to ensure that business school students dress properly becomes an issue. So there's a limit to what kind of morals that institutions can instill in students when they're in school. With that said, I think that the key problem is about the adverts. You know, for most of us who engage in, most of us in school, what do? The guys, we watch football. Before the football match, look at the number of adverts that are shown. Halftime, the number shown. And whilst you are watching, I think you're not interested, somebody's crashing out right behind you. Charlie, maybe Charlie, second half, no matter much. You understand? So the peer pressure is really huge on campus. Thank God when I was back doing my undergraduate, it was not that the pressure to engage in person was not that much. So I was able to, scale it. But it's very, very interesting and intriguing to find lecturers like my colleagues who have accounts, and they do that on a weekly basis. Yeah. And they see that as an other avenue to do what? To cash in. Frankly, this problem is not really a youth problem, if I should say. If you're not careful, no matter who you are, you may be tempted to do it. Now, I have never applied or tried to sign on to any of the betting accounts. But I have a cousin at home. Because investors are back. You can landmark keys no. We will try obedi. I was asking him, you have no work. I know where I said, oh, we're not here. Every day and then they made it. So the point really is, there's not one side. The peer pressure is one of them. The adverts, look, of late I listen to radio in the mornings, right? And I observe that they say chap, 5 cedi. And then the more you do it in a day, by the close of the day, they will give some money out. 1,000 Ghana. And look, our mothers in the kitchen are doing it. My mom, I do a credible one, I'm saying, we're going to finance, right? So it is not really an age thing. The adverts are becoming so pervasive that wherever you find yourself, there's one or there's something linked to betting that's being shown you. And our mother said something before she exited. Look, we are what we consume. So the moment we hear it over and over again, it becomes what? Normal. And they do that a lot to us. They will advertise, right? I just want to start the example, but I think we are there, so I won't start the example. But the moment they begin to do what? Tell you that over time, right? It becomes normal to you and you begin to accept it gradually. Before you are there, oh, there's nothing wrong with it, I can engage in it. So it's not one size fits all. There are multiple of issues, factors contribute to the youth going into this. And I'm sure we might go on to look at the other factors and other issues that comes with this betting issue. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. Finance institutions, and this goes to you. Finance institutions, when we turn on the radio or the TV or basically everywhere on the airwaves, for every one ad put out by banks or finance institutions, there are perhaps 3 from betting companies. Is it regulation that you need, or finance institutions are asleep at the wheel? How come they have outgunned you in the advertisement space? How come you've allowed, or not necessarily allowed, how come betting companies have huge advertising budgets compared to finance institutions? Can you speak to that?
Thank you. Maybe before I go into the question, let me add that this one is not alone. I've also had a betting account before. For about 3 months, I tried to explore. But this was many years ago when I had worked as a stockbroker for maybe about 6 years. And so also to add to what Doc said, it's not necessarily a good thing. I'm middle-aged and I have colleagues and seniors that bet actively. So it's an endemic problem. It's not just the youth that are going through it. Now you're right. I think regulation has a part to play. And so as part of my notes when I was preparing for the conversation, I put down something that I call the regulation. And then, so marrying regulation and the participants in the market, regulation and engagement tools. To be honest, the first time I signed on to a betting app, my first reaction was, whoa, I wish I could get this from my trading account. Because at the time, I was running an online equity trading platform that allowed my clients to trade directly to the stock exchange. But even for those guys, they couldn't log on to the app and then make deposits instantly. They would have to send some money to a bank. I'll need to nudge my finance officer to credit the account before they see it. When they sell their stock, they see the credit on their app, but they can't withdraw. But on betting apps, you can sign up, you can deposit, you can win a game, you can get your money within a short period. So regulation, it's such that market participants have been boxed into a space where you have a long form for KYC that your investors need to sign up to. It needs to go to some level of operational check and compliance. Then the account is approved, and then these guys can trade. Let me give you a practical example. We're in Cape Coast 2 days ago. We spoke to students. Except for the internet challenges, when I came back, I checked my dashboard. I see a lot of students have signed up. My operations and compliance team is now reviewing. I mean, even if we didn't have the internet challenge, I don't think the review would have happened by now. It would take maybe 3-4 days. If they go to an investment app Like, if they go to a betting app, as soon as they sign up, the account is live. So I think that, not to put everything on regulation, I think that even as market participants and financial institutions, we need to continually find ways to be innovative. We have about maybe 24, 26 stock brokerage firms, about 84 asset management companies. But how many of these companies even have investment apps, first of all? Then to even talk of the ones that have it and how sometimes cumbersome it is. I mean, the turnaround time needs to be worked on so that it becomes more competitive. So I don't have a yes or no answer, but I think that regulation has a part to play. Even for those investment companies that have apps, ask them how tough it was to get through regulatory approval to launch those apps. Because you're trying to marry client experience with regulation. And you're trying to make some things more refreshing for the younger people, the Gen Zs, or maybe the millennials. But your regulator says, no, put this here, put this here, put this here. So sometimes it makes the process more cumbersome. But at the same time, you also understand the regulator. They are trying to, sometimes even the regulator understands that what they are telling you to do is tough. But they also have old rules and old statutes that they cannot allow you to do it because this is what the regulation says. The regulation is a 2003 airline that they've been trying to change for God knows how long, but they haven't changed it yet. So they can't really tell you to flout it. And so it's an ongoing conversation, really. Maybe to summarize my point, it's an ongoing conversation. Financial institutions need to try and be innovative, try and challenge regulation, whilst regulation also has to try and find ways. I know the SEC, for example, has a sandbox, and the idea of the sandbox is to try and help market participants to do things that are not traditional. I don't think there's a lot going on there compared to what happens on the BOG side. So, ongoing.
Very, very insightful. So now it really begs the question, is the direction to loosen up the regulation that ties up traditional financial institutions, or perhaps to tie up sports betting agencies with more regulation? I think that should be something we should throw out there for us to reflect on. Now, going back to Jeffrey, and this would be a different round of questions. We have established that betting is a menace not just for the youth, for everybody. But it's a bigger problem for the youth because of vulnerability. They perhaps don't have that character judgment, they don't have that value system yet, they are developing it. How then can we as maybe custodians and stakeholders position the message of investment such that it will be competitive with what the youth hear from sports gambling?
That's quite interesting. Today I was having a conversation with some team members, and this came up. And I like what he said about the regulations and how cumbersome it's become. And I'll give a scenario. As we sit here, all of us sitting here, right? If you are ironing, I always use this example for some of these things, and then it touches your hand, right? You feel the pain instantly, no? Yeah. And so if somebody tells you iron burns, you know in your mind that it burns you, so you will not go there. As against smoking, right? Tell you that if you smoke, you get lung cancer and all of that and everything. It's not instant. It takes quite a while for it to come through. So you realize that very young people have now taken the habit of taking cigars, and it's like a status thing, like I'm a big boy, that kind of thing. Yeah. The effect is not immediate. It's long term. So these are some of the things that we need to pay attention to when we are looking at ways of getting the youth or whoever it is to stop whatever it is, to stop it. What you want to effect, you need to be mindful of the implication. And if it's long term, you need to find a way of bringing the long term effect immediate. However you do it is up to whoever it is that's responsible, and that's all of us. So it starts from conversations such as these, bringing industry experts to talk about it and trying to come up with ways and means of getting that done. So that if, for instance, smoking in itself, right, it takes a very long time to have the effect on you, you can probably, if it's possible, have documented a process where you know somebody who probably went through smoking and eventually this will happen to them. If that is shown, you see the effects. So it's very easy for you to appreciate what would happen if you don't take action, for instance. So what I would say is how we can get them to appreciate it. You start from the beginning. I mean, I brought this thing here for a purpose, right? So where I am from, we teach you to save from a very young age, and it may start very little. Now, in your mind, you want to probably own a house, but you can start from somewhere. So little drops of water, it makes that mighty ocean. So it's like you need to be very intentional about incorporating it in their studies, for instance. So from a very young age, this we give to the kids who have accounts with us. So when they know that when you do this, you're able to achieve what you want. You want to buy a phone, you want to buy a new shoe, a dress, it's gradual, you can get there. It helps you. So you incorporate these financial literacy habits or lessons in their curriculum. So from nursery, you have something that they can appreciate where financial literacy is concerned, and then they appreciate it. When they move to primary, you up it up a bit in a language that they understand, so that they see the effects of knowing how to at least be financial literate. So that when somebody calls you, like the CEO was saying earlier on, MD was saying earlier on, if somebody tells you, give me your PIN number, I've sent you something, you know from financial education, from the little that has been taught you, that doesn't make sense that somebody will call me and ask me for something that's supposed to be known to only me, because you've been educated on that. You move to the SHS, it moves up another notch in a way that you can understand and bringing more realities. You go to universities, it comes in. So when you are taking certain decisions, or you are getting close to say this is betting things and all of that, you are very mindful, you are aware of the risks, you regulate or you limit the risks, because in everything there are risks, even in savings. I mean, we're all here when we tell you that what do you call it? Treasury bills are the safest, right? But eventually, we had to take haircuts and all of that. At least you know that you do not put your eggs probably in one basket, things like that, from education. So you are mindful, and then you are careful how you go about it. So it starts from us, regulation, constant conversation, being very intentional about it. These roadshows that are happening from the Young Investor Network, for instance. These are all ways that we can get them to appreciate things like this, so that when we are putting it out there about the dangers and all of that, it's very easy for them to grasp, because they already have the background, the foundation.
Awesome. We have to leverage clearly. To sum up his thoughts, he's saying relatable lessons and compelling storytelling should be very much a part of the message that we put out there when we're educating the youth about financial literacy, because they are very vulnerable. They are coming up, they are now forming opinions about certain things. So thank you very much, Jeffrey. Now, Desmond, now to you. It's clear the youth typically are broke. They want money and they want it fast. Not to spend it on anything in particular, but for lifestyle reasons. That's influenced a lot by the general culture that is being pushed around. Fast money, expensive cars, influencer marketing, all that. And they see betting as the shortest way to achieve that. Do you think that it requires all hands on deck, from not just a financial literacy, but for tighter regulation on advertisement, what goes out, and for maybe we really can't do anything about socialization, because what goes on in people's homes we can't do, but maybe broader institutions like churches, we should take the message to churches and all that. There has to be perhaps a handshake of all the stakeholders. How do you think we can go about that?
I think you are absolutely spot on, and I think he started mentioning the things we need to do right from the schools, from the onset. You start teaching them about financial literacy, and you also mentioned about churches in school. In fact, when I was in university, and I was in a business school, right? But I didn't know anything about financial literacy. And so he's spot on saying that even at that level, we need to start or continue to talk to them about financial literacy. And at home, I'll give a simple example, and he was spot on in saying that you need to start teaching the kids about financial literacy. Where I grew up, if your parents found you with a susu box, the first question is, where did you get this money from? Are you stealing this money? And that's the reality, right? And so I wasn't taught financial literacy. It was something that I jumped on, I think, my third or fourth year in university. And so, and I got that because I was able to lead like sort of a campaign sort of thing, right? And so it's important that even from the onset, we start talking about financial literacy. I've also been on a journey where even churches, mosques, wherever you find somebody, you need to start talking to them about financial literacy. So yes, you're actually so spot on. It has to be a collaborative effort. From the financial institution side, we have a big role to play. Because, for example, if you want to make betting not attractive, there should be an alternative. And that's where investments come into play. And so we also need to do a bit more in preaching the message out that, hey, it's not to get the financial independence you want. It's not a quick or get rich quick scheme. It has to be a process. It's a process, a journey. And that's some of the roles that we have to play as financial institutions. From the regulator point of view, from Gaming Commission, we probably have to limit the kind of adverts that we give out there because, I mean, like I said, even for someone like me, it's really enticing. If not for strong will, before you realize I've put all my money in sports betting because I think I'm good with sports anyways. And so, like you said, everybody has to bring their opinions, their collaborations on point in order to get this thing reduced to a acceptable level. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Desmond. Now to Dr. Ban. We noticed that a lot of subject matter experts like yourself know a lot about finance and personal finance and whatnot, but that information is siloed either within their own quarters on campus, and they are not really taking the message out there, and they also aren't advocates for policy changes. What do you think should be the policy direction of the country by way of what goes out there, like content moderation, by way of, moderating gaming and all that, and also consumer protection, let's say? What do you think should be the direction, especially knowing what you know and this panel knowing what they know, assuming they come together? What should be the direction? Should we stifle the gaming industry, or we should perhaps do more in the financial services industry? Because if you are not careful, we would make sports betting out to be a complete villain, forgetting that it's an employer. It's employing people. And maybe some people here have parents who work in betting companies and it puts food on their table. So it's not about really talking down on an industry, but seeing how best we could, picking the words of Mr. Avevo, right? Picking how we could marry it in a way that there's balance. You understand? So how do you think policy direction should be?
All right, thank you. There's a popular adage in finance that there's a question that should you allow regulation to lead innovative finance, or we should allow innovative finance to lead regulation? So should you allow, to the extent that people will innovate about finance, then later regulation comes in, or rather regulation should lead the way before innovation comes in? And a typical example of innovation leading regulation is what we call a one, right? So there's no regulation, so he starts something up, and then that would mean that I have to create regulation to do what? To regulate it. Or should you also hold regulation down so we develop strong institutions, strong laws that can take care of that before innovation can take place? So it's a big debate that we can go on and on and on. That is an ending cycle. But for me, I think that the best form of defense is from you, the individual. And it's better starts from the home, right? And you as a person. Look, the honest truth is that governments come in when other things are failed. Right? So the best way you can defend yourself is from you, not from the government. Okay? So yes, government regulations may come in to do some of these things. But the way we are trained at home plays a very key role in how to tame some of these things. If you expose them very early, then you'll be exposed to it, right? Now, in my home, what my father used to do was, what do you want? We tell him, he said, okay, what you're asking me to buy for you, it will take me like 3 months to save, 4 months to save. So expect this in the next 4 months. And you see, you get annoyed, you cry, you do whatever. But in 4 months, you know that you get that thing. And unconsciously, that thing taught me that Everything goes with time. He can't just get up and cough money. He works, he plans. And you're not the only person he's planning for. So unconsciously, I started doing that. A friend will come, Charlie, I said now you teach Charlie, let's try the Charlie, forgive me something small. I said, oh, you know what? I've extended my budget for this thing this month. The next month is good, but I'll give you 2 months time. Do you still need it? So I'll call you. Oh, do you still need it? It's a way of trying to talk with that I'm planning. So your income, your problems can be my problems, but at a later date, not now. So these little things we do at home tend to help us to build our finances. Are you okay? And me, as old as I am, I still have a shoebox in my room. When I get there, I put everything in it. And when I'm not there, some people who know where my shoebox is, they'll go there and they'll take it. Right? So we need to understand that the way to protect ourselves is by us. No one else will be able to do it better than ourselves. I've said that government comes in when what? When other things are what? Are failed. So for me, if you ask me, the best form of defense, the best way we can insulate our students, our youth from some of these things is from the home. Training them at home. When parents are well informed, then the kids will also be well informed before they grow up. And the church should also take up some of these things, because at church, I remember one time at church, I'm a Presbyterian, and then we order our service that at least there are 4 weeks in a month. So for at least one of the weeks, there's no preaching. One person from maybe an expert like a pension expert, somebody will come and say something around pensions or something. And there's this woman in our church, very, 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 very rich, right? Wealthy. And she was given the first note to start that thing. And she was like, when she started life, what she had was cooking utensils. And the husband had this wardrobe and a bed and a room. So that's how they got married and they started life. And the youth today, we think that everything should come fast. But that man driving that Benz started saving when he started work when you're not born. And now he's driving the Benz, you think it's something he just got. No, it's series of years of what? Of planning. Whilst we're saying that, my youth president was sitting right by me and said, Master Jada, okay, come. I was like, oh, George, why do you tell this girl to make you no mind up? He said, I said, why? Oh, you know him, Kiddy? I said, yeah. You know be Max? I said, yeah. See the car Max the drive. Max go and make it. They put pressure for one and talk. Why we not go do these things? We go do them. So you see, the lifestyle that our colleagues live might not be their threat. It's from their parents. But because we see them do it, that pressure comes to us. And not do things we are not supposed to do at that point in time. So he said an example, oh, crack on. That's what he said. My colleague said, right? So that pressure, right, stirs you to do what? To do things you're not supposed to do. Are you okay? So we have to understand that we need to cut our coat according to what? No, your cloth. Because is it? Yes, it's your cloth, right? You cut your coat according to the cloth we have. Is that not it? Your size will be influenced by the cloth you sew. So the cloth you have determines that. So we need to understand where we are coming from, where we are going, and where we want to get to. If you lose sight of where you are coming from, you always make that mistake of thinking that you are a bird and not a butterfly. But maybe you might be a butterfly, not a bird. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And before I get to the last speaker, Mr. Avevo, please prepare your questions. There will be a brief session where you can ask the panel your questions. And I don't expect you to tell me you don't have questions, because 60% of you have betting accounts. Okay. Anyway, so we, Mr. Avevo, we can point the finger of blame at maybe the absence of regulation or lax regulation, but then the finance institutions need to step up. I think that conversation, and some are stepping up already, but they need to step up more. That conversation has been had as well. In two submissions, just let us know, how should the finance institutions redefine themselves to at least be at pace with pushing the financial literacy conversation to youth, who are the most vulnerable?
Okay, so thank you very much. So what comes to mind immediately is leveraging technology. It might not happen quickly or in a day, but I think that with engagement with technology, you are able to develop workflow or client engagement tools that would make it easier for young people to engage or sign up to investment products easily. I also think that, I mean, away from, or in addition to using investment applications, making it easy for people or investors to sign up, the continuous engagement also helps because it cannot be fully digital. We need conversations and platforms like this to continue to talk to people because the pressures are always there. They are ever present. So we can leverage technology, make it easy for people to sign up to buy investment products, make it easy for them to redeem their investments when the time is due, and also continue to talk to them. From my perspective, I think that these are the two key things that we can deploy.
Thank you very much. So clearly, the onus lies not just on policymakers, people in the academic community, the churches, but financial institutions as well. Because in the end, you are battling for the same target audience, which is the youth, and as we found out, not just the youth, the adults as well. So thank you very much. Now, we would spend the next 5 or so minutes taking questions from the audience to any of the panel, any members of the panel. And I know you have questions. So let me start. Anyone has any question they would like to ask? All right. Say your name and ask your question and your school you're from.
My name is Eric Kofi Jimalatha. I'm from University of Ghana. And I wanted to know what do you guys think about professional gambling? I believe sometimes some people use mathematics, probability to evaluate certain outcomes. Yes, with let's say it's football like this. You have studied the pattern that with this chances, the person can this team can be able to score this amount of goals. So you stake the bet on the probability that yes, this will happen. So what I want to know what you guys think about it. Is it good? Is it bad?
Who would you like to take the question? Okay, Jeffrey. Any of them? Okay.
All right. Let me just say. So maybe I'm sure my colleagues here will add something. But what you said is something like using data analytics to engage your customers, for instance. All right. What you are doing by studying the trend, by being responsible, as in looking at what the strengths are, what the likelihood of you winning and all of that is being responsible and limiting your risks. So that could apply to somebody who is like who is so addicted he can't do anything about it. But you also want to, because for addictions there are rehabs and places where you need to go and recover. Even that, people go and come back and they relapse. So let's just say that at this point where society is now looking at ways of working on it, hopefully, right, in a few years to come, the betting trend would have reduced because we would have all taken responsibility and have worked on it from inception. But in this instance, if you have to bet, for instance, it will be great and it will be good that you go about it in a very informed, advisedly manner, if I can put it that way, if you get what I mean. So it minimizes your risk, so that all the things that comes with it, the losing your money, the depression, the moving away from society and all of that, that comes with losing money if you go about it without thinking through it properly. I think it helps when you have steady trends and you do it in a very informed way. That's what I want to say.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything to top up?
For me, right, have you seen Fernando Torres miss against Man United? Darwin Núñez. You can do all the math you want, even with the investment. But for me, it's the addiction part that he spoke about. Is the Luther doctor rich? Is he a millionaire? Is he a billionaire? You understand? I think it's really hard to be a billionaire or a millionaire from football from gambling, right? And so it just shows that it requires a lot. And from what I've seen, from the people who are engaged, they've lost more than they've won. And if they win one time, if you do an accumulation of what they've lost, it doesn't even get anywhere close to that. And so for me, because there's a higher probability that at the end of the day, it's someone who is playing the football, right? And they can miss a chance. In fact, 2 weeks ago, one of my friends was complaining. He did over under 2.5. That means they scored below 3 goals. Then the 90-something minutes, one more goal. Then, so you could do all the math. In fact, one time, Bayern Munich, right? They lost recently, I think, 2-1 or 3-1. And the odds were really small, 1.05 or something like that. You think they will buy me, they will score this new team. You put money into it before you realize everything is gone. So you can follow the trends. Because buying me against anybody else, again, I know this because I'm a really big football fan. So yes, it's important to realize something that you can put all the math, everything, but bro, you lose before you think. All right, thanks.
I've had the opportunity of meeting people. A friend of mine back in uni, first degree, and he's like, "Me you here, you could carry back 5 minutes at the end. I put on some Napoli. Me could me quite by a D 1 day we win 5 minutes at the end. We could die for the second. He entered the battle when he came back. It was 1-1, and that guy was winning by 100,000 because there were a number of teams that he had actually won. So you see, as you rightly said, every stage of addiction may require a different strategy. If the person decides that he can't do it, but he may go through some of these things to reduce their risk. You understand? But the point I ask myself is, what do you say is worth creation? We're not creating something, it's not an event, right? It's a process. See, the process you go through to create wealth, right, teaches you how to manage it yourself. Right? The process of creating it, right? What you do to create it, right? Will teach you how to do what? Manage it. So if you just win, you don't create it, what happens? It goes like that. And there's another teacher that says that like something comes in without you struggling for it. What does it do? You just lose them along the line, right? So ask yourself, what value do I create when I win? But when I give my money to the bank, the institution, and they create value, right? They create product, they sell, they make profit, and they give me a part of it. So that creates value in the system. And that adds up quickly to what? To our GDP and everything that we want to see. By just winning a bet, ask yourself, where does the money go to? Just that app, a few workers there, the money just gets to some few people, that matters. There's nothing like we are paying people, we are doing that with huge production values that can actually do this. Maybe we should be looking at how maybe betting causes inflation, because it doesn't really add up to value, right? And then inflation is what? What money chases what? Fuel goods. And that thing does not actually add any value in the short run. So you may have to look at that, and then when that investor, think about that. How does that add value to the economy? How does that add value to the economy? Thank you.
Would you like to speak to? You're fine. Okay, so that sums up.
Sorry, on a lighter note,
okay,
right? No, on a lighter note, the betting companies pay taxes. So the taxes, so you're paying more money to government. If you want to create a value, just give e-levy. Don't use the betting.
All right. Thank you so much. Any other question? All right. So Jessica has a question. Would you come for the mic? This should be the final one. Then we'll bring the session to a close. Does anyone, you have a question? Okay, so after, you also have, you guys, you have questions like that? Okay, that's good.
Thank you very much. So mostly, after these kind of conversations are had, it looks like everything continues the way it is. Like everybody just goes back to normal and we don't have people really affecting the change. Is this going to be different?
Yeah, I'll quickly jump onto that. Yes, it will be different. I know Doc just mentioned maybe there has to be a paper or something like that. And once I know academics, So once he says that, means that definitely he's going to act. That should tell you something. My team and I are actually going to be doing some financial literacy sessions in the Can West area, and these are very young babies. In fact, that's why I'm carrying this thing around me. All right, just so that they appreciate what it means to be financially literate. And being financially illiterate doesn't mean say wabon necessarily. You may have the knowledge, you have the first class and all that, and still don't understand the dynamics of money, how to manage it, how to move things around, where to go, where not to. For instance, when you are not even earning yourself. Do you get what I mean? So I'll speak for myself and maybe indicate that, like Doc has said, he's going to work on it. But yes, there's actually an outline of programs that I am going to be championing with my team to make sure that they appreciate it. And I want to believe that anybody that's hearing us will also put in effort. Maybe you want them to all commit or something, but yeah, we'll act on it. Thank you.
Right? And the little finance we know is that it's information that drives what? The prices. So it means that because people cannot analyze information and know what to do, then the price will stay there. So once we begin to do these things in the future, you will observe that our stock market will respond to what? Information, right? So far as you're reading budget, something should change on the stock exchange because the budget brings information, and that information should trigger investors to what? To either change their old way of doing things or bring something new on board. But even when you're reading budget or anything, nothing changes, right? It's because people don't appreciate how these things link to what? To finance. And once these things are being done over time, I'm sure in the future, you might have the Ghana Stock Exchange as one of the best ways to study what? Finance. Are you okay? Yeah, thank you.
Drake bet about £615,000 or dollars on one of the fights. Anthony Joshua. You see, I'll give you two scenarios. There are people that it's sort of like something they do for fun because they have excess money. I had a friend, 2020, just COVID. And at that time, he was earning 15,000 cedis, but he was living hand to mouth. Why? Because of betting. And so maybe you could say that this guy is maybe above middle class or middle class, but this problem is still real, like you mentioned. And so for people who treat it as something that they just do because they have excess funds, I mean, you can't really regulate someone's hobby if it's something. But for us, it's about the addiction, especially for young people who see betting as the way to make wealth. That's where I think our concern is. We think that you have to go through, let's say, the wealth creation process, rather than just, I'm not making, I only earn 500 CDs, so I'll use this one CD to become a millionaire. The chances of you actually getting that, it's probably much more slim than if you actually put that one CD, accumulate it into an investment, 50 CDs, and then you start your wealth creation process. So for us, I think it's about the addiction and how people perceive wealth creation through betting. Thanks.
Has the industry failed because youth is betting more? Is that your question? And why? Okay, and why is government not doing anything about it? So, regulation comes in so many forms, right? And one of them is a tax, right? So the tax that they are imposing, there used to be no tax. But now they've introduced the tax just to serve as a deterrent for those who are in it. And now make them bet music, I will bet it 10%. I know somebody who says I won't bet again because of that, right? But you see, yes, governments will try and come in, but usually their approach may not be holistic. It may target some group of people. Remember that governance deals with lobbying, right? You see, you are trying to say that government should bring in stringent measures to make sure the youth will not do what? Bet, right? At the same time, it's somebody's business. That businessman is paying what? Taxes. Excuse my language, far-fetched, but for all you know, that person who owns that betting company is financing that party who is in power, right? So there are a lot of things when it comes to regulations and how it works in favor of what? Of the country. That's why I made this point that the best form of defense is what? You yourself. Setting your standards right, knowing what you want, where you are, where you were, where you are, and where you want to go to, right? So government will come in with certain rules, regulations, and anyway, there are rules, regulations, right? but people still have their way around it. For instance, it's a bad behavior, don't do it. Just 2 days ago, I was arrested by the police. And why? I was going to check on something so tight. As soon as I picked the phone, the police said, my friend, fuck, I've caught you using the mobile phone while I was driving. He sat down, public official, throw me a lecture. So let's go to the station, right? We took to the station, he processed me, everything. They've given me a court date. I'm going to court on Tuesday, right? The point I'm driving at is that the best form of defense is you. The government will be there, but if I had not picked the phone, he wouldn't have caught me. And now I have to go and face the law. So I'm really thinking of what I'm going to say at the law court when I'm going on Tuesday. So know that the best form of defense is what you yourself try and put your own or destiny in your hands. Don't depend on the government. Governments will come in, but usually they come in when things are almost what, especially in a part of the world there's no funds, right? So you have to be careful with your own life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for our panel.